Hi everybody, it's Stephanie. Something very exciting is happening right now. The new Xbox is here, finally. I have been waiting for a very long time. So I am so excited to be making an Xbox Series X cake today. This cake is a little bit more special than others because I think I told you all in my game room tour video that my husband works for Xbox and he has for lots of years. So this cake is for him and I think that he is really going to like it. So let's get started on my Xbox Series X cake. Baked six 6-inch square chocolate cakes. Here they are. And then next I'm going to level the tops of each of the cakes and then also torte them. Alright, let's start stacking up my cakes. This flavor combination is one of my favorites. It's chocolate with mint chocolate chip buttercream frosting. I really love this frosting, it's so good, and I will put the recipe for it down in the description box. After 4 layers of cake, I am going to go ahead and add some dowels. These are plastic straws, and then I'm going to put 4 into my cake and then cut them down flush with the cake. And then I will put another board into place and then 4 more layers of cake and 3 layers of frosting. And then I am repeating the process of more dowels and then another board. And then I went ahead and went with 3 more layers of cake because the Xbox is almost 12 inches tall. It's a little bit shorter than 12 inches. So just get your ruler out and make sure you have the right height. All right, now that I have it all stacked, I'm going to go ahead and cover the entire cake with chocolate ganache. And I have already colored this chocolate ganache with black food color gel. To get a smooth and sharp surface, I am using my extra tall icing scraper. Take your time on the smoothing part because it is very, very important. Even when you use fondant or modeling chocolate on the outside of the cake, you can still see imperfections in the buttercream or the ganache, so try to get it perfectly smooth and sharp. And I went ahead and did a second coat and then smoothed it once again. When I was covering the cake in ganache, I forgot that the top of the cake is just slightly concave. So I'm going back and I'm carving out some of the cake right on that top so that it dips inward just slightly. And once I am happy with the shape, I am going back and I'm covering it in more chocolate ganache. And I am making sure that top edge is very sharp and smooth. There is a vent on the top of the Xbox, so I have cut out a square of modeling chocolate that is about 6 inches. And then I'm using a piping tip to cut out small holes to resemble the vent. Next, I'm adding a green circle right on the top of the cake, and that is modeling chocolate. And then very carefully, I'm moving over the top of the Xbox. Let's completely cover the cake. I am using the paneling method to cover this cake with modeling chocolate, but you could also use fondant for this. If you use fondant, it is best to put the panels into the freezer before you move it onto the cake so that you can handle it easier and also it will cut nicer too. Alright, so I have cut my panels and then I am laying a wooden dowel down on the board because I need a gap down there on the bottom. And then I am brushing the cake with some piping gel. And then I am moving my modeling chocolate panel over onto the cake. And to get that nice straight edge, I'm laying my ruler right on the top, and then I am running my X-Acto knife right across the top to get that perfect cut. I am also cutting the sides using the same technique with my ruler and X-Acto knife. You'll want to cover both of the sides first and then move on to the back panel. My back panel is in place and now I am going to go ahead and create all the little details in the back like the vents and the ports. I'm starting with the small vent holes and I tried out a couple different ways to create these vents and I ended up pushing the end of a wooden dowel into the cake, which looks pretty good. Just be sure to hold up a ruler to make sure you're lining them up correctly. Mine were a little bit crooked, which I didn't notice until later, but it's fine, it all worked out in the end. And I am also using various tools to create the different little ports in the back. Like I have a little cookie tool here, it's a yellow one, and also my Dresden tool. And then also just regular piping tips can help you make different size holes in the cake. So just use whatever you have to make these little ports in the back, and they do not have to be perfect. As you can see, mine are not perfect. Alright, so I have saved the front of the cake for last because I have a light going in the front, and the light only lasts for like maybe 24 hours, and it is the brightest right at first. So you always want to wait until the very end to put the lights in. So I am carving out a little hole here to put the light in, and the light I'm using is an LED light, and I have covered it with aluminum foil tape. You just need to be sure to take that light out before you serve the cake because it's definitely not edible. And here I'm showing you the Xbox logo that I printed out on wafer paper, and I'll be placing this right on top of the light after I get the modeling chocolate onto the cake. And finally, I am placing the front panel of modeling chocolate onto the cake, and I repeat the process of trimming down the sides and top of the modeling chocolate. I covered up my light, so next I am going to cut away some of the modeling chocolate there in a circle so that the light can shine through. And then very carefully, I'm placing my wafer paper Xbox logo right on top of the light, and it kind of just hung into place on its own, but if you need to, you can stick it on there with some piping gel. And I have a few more details on the front. This is the disk drive, and I'm marking it with my ruler first and then cutting it out with my X-Acto knife. And be careful when you're pulling this modeling chocolate out because the ganache underneath might want to come out, but it's okay, you can easily fix it up. Mine started pulling out just right there at the bottom, but I did fix it and it was fine. I am also adding a button right above the disk drive, and then also another USB port here on the front, and I did get that one looking nice and pretty, so I was proud of that one. And then I have one more black circle right above that USB port. And finally, I'm finishing it off with a black ribbon to cover up this wooden board. My Xbox Series X cake is complete. This cake was so easy to make, and it looks very realistic to me. My husband said it was a perfect match, and he is very, very picky, especially when it comes to the Xbox. So that was a very big compliment. And before I give him a slice, I need to test it out. Thank you all for watching today, and I hope you all learned how to make your own Xbox Series X cake. And now we are going to celebrate by eating the rest of this cake. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye.